Are we good to go? Hello, hello, hello. Hi, all. Thank you for joining me once again with Let's Talk with Olu. I am here with Sandra again. Joseph will be joining us shortly. And boy, do we ever have a hot topic to discuss tonight. But before we do that, got to do a little bit of business first. As you guys remember from the first time Sandra joined me, and if not, I'll let you know. Sandra is the owner of Palais Noir, an amazingly cute venue in Ajax for all events, weddings, showers, parties, you name it, she's got it. If you're looking for a venue to hold an event, contact Sandra at Palais Noir. We'll probably put her contact information in the comments so you can reach out to her. Joseph is our resident barber from Legends Barbershop. He's on his way, so he'll be joining us shortly. I am Olu, certified motivational life coach and founder of the Let's Talk Women's Conference. Proud to announce that the second annual Let's Talk Women's Conference is coming up on April 26, 2025. Tickets are now on sale. You can get your tickets at my website, www.olumuli.com. I think I've covered all the business stuff. Oh, and as always, I tape my lives. I'm coming to you live from Perspective Studios in Whitby. Okay, so the topic of discussion for tonight. Hot one. Is it okay for women to support their men financially? And if not, why not? And if it is, why? So I actually went online and I got this article. I forgot what year it was from, but it discusses this topic about women who financially support their boyfriends or their husbands. And these are real life stories I have here, printed out here. And I love the fact that some of the stories outline what worked in that relationship and what didn't work in that relationship. But before I start, I, unlike my two guests tonight, am not married. My two guests are married, and I'm not quite sure what their dynamics are in terms of how the financial breakdown in their family is like, nor do I want to get into the nitty gritty. But I will start with Sandra and ask Sandra, not so much what it's like in your household, but would this work in your household? If you had to be the breadwinner and bring home the bacon, would that work for the kind of husband that you have?
Absolutely. My husband's pretty chill, and he doesn't worry about how we get fed, who's doing the feeding. As long as his children are fed, the roof is over our heads, and we're comfortable, he's happy.
So, having said that, if you if you had to bring home the bacon and take care of everything, would you do that?
Absolutely.
How would you feel about doing that?
I wouldn't have a problem doing that because we're a team.
But what if he got a little bit too comfortable?
Now we have to talk.
Okay, now that's what I'm getting at. So you're doing it because let's say he got laid off unexpectedly. He's been off for, I don't know, 6 months or so.
Mhm.
You have to carry the load. You're okay with that. But what happens if 6 months become a year because boyfriend got uncomfortable now? He's kind of liking being at home. Would that bother you?
So if he's contributing to the house,
Hmm.
so we have stay at home moms, we may have a stay at home dad, that wouldn't bother me at all. If I have to be the one working and come home and clean and cook and do all of that, that would bother me. But if he's contributing, he doesn't have to do it financially. He can contribute in other ways. I think I'd be okay.
Okay. So let me read one of the stories from the article that I pulled up. This one said, and mind you, there's about 10 different scenarios here. There's 12 different scenarios. Again, some worked, some didn't work. This one said it ended the relationship. He got fired before we were due to move in together. I was prepared to look after us both, so I saved up. Was really careful about what we spent my money on, but he didn't seem to be at all that bothered about finding a job, something that I didn't see until 4 months into living together. I saw a very lazy side to him, and it made me lose a lot of respect for him. It didn't help that he did nothing around the house to help.
See?
Out while I was at work, I frequently spent the weekends cleaning the house when he could have been doing that during the week. I wanted a partner, someone I could rely on. Instead, I got a couch potato.
There's the key word that she said. I wanted a partner. And if you have a partner, I think a lot of those things wouldn't bother you.
Exactly.
And a partner is doing their share regardless of if it's financial or not.
Amen. Well, Joseph has joined us. Joseph, say hi.
Hello.
Joseph. Now, again, without getting into the nitty-gritty of the financial breakdown in your household, as a man, how would you feel if your wife was the breadwinner? Oh, I can see by the look on the face already.
Well, it's kind of funny. Before we got married, my wife made more than me, and I didn't have a problem with that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I like that. So, but in terms of her being solely the breadwinner, I will not feel good as a man.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I'm actually, this article that I pulled up, that's the reoccurring theme, that the men didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You have those traditional men who are raised to take care of the household. That's not all they know. So yeah, there's a lot of, I was like a lot of women saying in this article that I read, saying, I was okay with it. He wasn't.
Yeah.
He was very uncomfortable. He was very miserable at the fact of him staying home, me working, couldn't wait to find a job. And then you have those that jumped right into, oh, this is kind of comfortable. I can do this. For me, I don't have a problem supporting my household. As you said before, it's a partnership, right? In the vows, it's, better for better or worse, richer or poorer, sickness or health. So I don't mind it, but there's got to be a balance. And if my niece was here, she'd probably say there's going to be boundaries.
Exactly.
Right? So if I'm out there working all day and you're not and there's different reasons why. You got laid off, maybe you got injured, maybe you were, on sick leave or whatever the case may be. I think it would bother me, it would bother me if I was out there working, bringing home the bacon, taking care of the house financially, and then coming home to a dirty household. No food to eat, have the kids bathe. Did you go shopping? If I had to do all of that, that's a problem.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
That's a problem.
I would agree. My husband is traditional, and he would have a problem like you, Joseph, if he had to depend on me for everything. But he's the guy that would be okay with it for a time, right? He would be okay with it for a time because we do have a partnership. I'm not your traditional wife. I don't do the laundry because my husband does a better job than I do. I know. We had this the last time. We talked about this the last time. You had the same comment.
Yeah.
When we do groceries in our house, we do them together because I am not eating all the food by myself. So we're all going to do the groceries together. So I don't think he'd have a problem with it for a time. But if it was a prolonged period, he definitely would be like, no, I have to provide. Like, he still opens the door for me. I can't push the buggy when we go shopping. He pushes the buggy, all those things. So he'd have a problem with it like you would after a time.
I think for men, if you were raised like that, and if you're a traditional man, it would bother you. It would make you uncomfortable. But we're living in different times now where women are sometimes making more than the men, right? And there's times too when you're newly married and you're sharing finances. That's great. But then that scenario happens where kids start coming into play. And then the conversation has to be had, whether it's financially better for both parents to work and put the kids in daycare or one parent to stay home. Because sometimes what daycare costs and what you're bringing in, right? Especially if you have more than one child. So you have all those different dynamics of how to work that out. But I think at the end of the day, it's how do you feel as a man having your wife support you, and how do you feel as a woman having to support your man? I can't wait for the questions and comments to start coming in. So here's another scenario. He stayed home with our child after my maternity leave. It was difficult at first because it shifted both the stress and the power of running our household. I actively have to ensure that I'm not taking away his voice just because I pay the bills. Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh wow, yeah, I could see that.
That's a
We
big
had
one.
we had to work through my resentment of him because I wanted to be able to stay home with our child. But financially, it didn't make sense when I carried a higher paying job.
Mm.
He had to work through his insecurities about being a stay-at-home dad that is financially supported by his wife. It has made us both better people.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, but they had to work through a lot of different things going on here.
Well,
I-
I know we'd have to work through some stuff. So, yes, my husband would be okay with it for a time, but we'd have to work through some stuff because I like what she said about her resentment and coming home. Like, for example, today's cold. If I had to go out and work and come home and he was home, yes, food cooked and all that stuff, but I was the one that had to go out, I'd have a little bit of resentment too, I think. It's a little bit.
Well, you know,
Okay.
and her resentment came from the fact that she wanted to be that stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Which is what society tells us, right? That stay-at-home mom. Stay-at-home dad doesn't quite roll off the tongue like stay-at-home mom does.
Mhm.
I liked when she said she had to actively have to ensure that she wasn't taking away his voice. Another way of saying that was not taking away his manhood. It's bad enough that he's a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
If you start treating him as such, that's a difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think times have changed. I think it's not the days of when the husband worked and the
Mhm.
wife stayed home,
Mhm.
because the problem that created was women had no skills. And that's why even today in the laws, when there's a divorce, the husband still has to support the wife financially, be it through alimony or child support or both. And I've often said, as someone who worked in the law, I think the laws need to be re-examined in how the courts calculate that.
Mhm.
Because they're all about, making sure the ex-wife is taken care of. But what if you remarry and you have another wife and other kids, and they're like, that's not our business.
That's so true.
Yeah, that's not our business. That's a
so
you problem.
true.
That's
Yeah.
a you problem,
Yeah.
right? But that's the problem that happened back in the day when the husband was working,
Mhm.
and the wives finished school and just stayed home. No skills, no work experience, probably no bank account of their own.
Mhm.
The husband, made all the money and paid all the bills, and that can cause a problem. So
I agree.
the dynamics have now shifted. We have stay-at-home dads now. We have single mothers now that support their entire household. We have women that make more than their husbands, and you have to decide, okay, who's going to stay home with the kids. Different society now.
Different dynamics for sure. For sure.
So let's read another one of these comments. This thing keeps, I don't know
Those
where
are
you're
very
going.
interesting.
These are very interesting.
Very
There's
interesting
12
comments.
different ones in here. Now this one is really short. She says here, it happened without any intention on my side. He would quit his part-time jobs without warning me. It got real old real quick. So first, let's talk about how it comes about that the woman ends up supporting the family. I had lots of people message me when I posted what we're talking about, and one person said to me, "So is the man capable of working?"
If he is, he should.
Yeah, if he is, he
Mhm.
should.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
That's a different scenario. If your man is just lazy,
We're talking something totally
we're
different.
talking something totally different.
Totally different now.
We're talking something totally different. And you, Miss Woman, if you're that woman whose man is just lazy and couch potato and video game player, and you tolerate that, problem is you.
Yeah, you're talking to a
Your
whole
problem is
different problem.
the problem is you, because you've taught him how to treat you.
Mm.
You've taught him that that's okay.
I don't think the problem is her. I think the problem is the man. Straight up, the problem is the man, because the man needs to be talked to. He needs to be counseled, because a man, if he is taught properly, he gets up and he goes and does things. He knows his responsibility as a man. So I'm talking from a man perspective. Some men, if they get too comfortable, then they could sit down and do nothing. But yeah, the woman could talk, but if they don't have motivation, they're not hanging around other men that are actually working or doing things or doing better for themselves, it could be very bad for that man. But mostly men like to do stuff. Men like to do stuff. Men like to be handy. So it really depends on the work, the type of job he might be offered. Because some men, if you tell them go sit down in front of a computer, there is no way, right? Because after a while, there's men that, because of the profession that I do, they talk about this. We talk a lot. If it's like just working away on the computer all day, it sucks, right? It doesn't work for men. Men love to be handy, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Okay, Joseph, but to Olu's point, at some point as a woman, if I'm allowing you to treat me a certain way, not doing certain things, I agree with Olu. That's on me because I have to teach you how I want to be treated, right?
I hear you. At some point, yes, I hear you at some point, but I still think it's not fully on the woman. But I think it's really a part of the man too.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not fully on the woman.
Yeah,
And we're gonna
yeah.
pause here for a moment, just for me to remind all of those you can that are watching that starting today's live, we're giving away free tickets to the Let's Talk Women's Conference. So if you're watching and you would like a chance to win, simply type the words "Let's Talk" into the comment section for you to be entered into the draw for a chance to win a ticket to the concert. Now, here's the caveat. You would have to be following me on one of my platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. So once I get all the Let's Talk entries, I will check who's following me or who's subscribed to YouTube and select a winner from that group. So when you're watching, just type in Let's Talk and I'll select the winner. So why I say that if the man is a couch potato, video game player, after a while, the problem becomes you as the woman. I'm assuming he's been spoken to either by her, and women. She's gonna speak to him, and she's gonna complain to her family and friends and his family too, and they're gonna say to him like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And then probably there's no change. But if you keep paying the bills, you get up every morning and he's on the sofa in front of the video games, and you just keep paying the bills.
Mm-hmm.
You've taught him that that's okay.
Absolutely.
There's no consequences to it. You keep doing that, right? How long do you plan on doing that for? You're not helping him. You're certainly not helping yourself. So there's different dynamics. Is he lazy? Just doesn't work? Doesn't want to work? I hear you when you say that men have to be busy and doing things. And I've often said not every job is for everybody.
Correct.
Right? My daughter looked at me. She's like, "Mom, I don't know how you could have worked as a law clerk all those years. Sitting behind a computer at a desk would drive me crazy." So I totally get that. There's different jobs. But what I don't understand, and I've heard this before from women whose husbands are not working. They've been laid off from their job. They were an engineer, they were a this, or they were a that, and they were making X amount of money and got laid off. And won't go back to work until they find a job in that field making that money that they were making before.
Yeah, that's
I've heard that several times.
Yeah, that's definitely something. Yeah.
Really, eh? So
Absolutely.
unlike us women who, if we were law clerks making $100,000 a year and got laid off and there was no law clerk jobs available, we'll be at McDonald's, right?
Or Walmart greeter.
Or Walmart greeter. Yep. We would do whatever we can do in the interim.
Exactly.
Until that Walmart, whatever job or law clerk job came out. What we certainly would not do, because we can't. We have our kids to feed. What we certainly cannot do and will not do is do nothing until that particular job comes. But I've heard this from a lot of women. My husband got laid off 2 years ago. Well, what's he doing? Looking for a job for 2 years? Well, he's in this field or that specialty field, and he was making up this amount of money, and he's not going to go back and make minimum wage doing X, Y, Z.
I could interject here. I mean, it's men, if you're listening to me, this is going to be a little bit tough, right? But at the same time, if the woman puts pressure on him in terms of like, say, listen, well, we can't afford the house anymore. I can't keep on paying the bills. So maybe we should just pack up and go to mommy or it will kind of push a man. I'm telling you, it will kind of push a man to do something. Or I've seen men who have lost their jobs and they actually start doing Uber or something, right? I mean, some men are not motivated because they were in such a high position, so they feel very low and then they get comfortable.
Yes.
But overall, if the man, like I said, you encourage the man to go around other men, to have that men group, join a men group, it really would help. Or even to have that man talk to his barber, or if he goes to church, talk to his pastor and stuff like that. Because a man is not easily motivated just sitting in the house, but he has to have people, especially other men, to be
encourage
around,
him,
to encourage him. Yes, from a man perspective,
So I could talk about my husband, and I could tell you that he doesn't need much motivation to do what he knows he has to do, right? But to Olu's point earlier, where some of this falls on the woman, if we're a year in and you haven't made an attempt to find something to do with yourself, whether it be driving Uber, Walmart greeter, something. If you haven't made that attempt, now I have to, like you said, I'm now going to push you a little bit. And we're going to try to do it together. I will come home with job ads for you. I will talk to people about helping you find a job.
That's nice.
I am going to be proactive because
that is nice. Very nice.
Right? You can't. We're a team. Remember, we're a team. We're a team. So I've got to do my part to help him find that job.
That's very good.
It may even be, hey, hon, let's go back to school. Do you want to go back to school and do something? Whatever it takes. But you just can't sit around and play video games.
That's right.
And we're in year 2. And we're not doing anything productive, right? And I have 2 sons and 2 daughters. They're watching. And I can't afford my children to watch you be a bum on the couch.
Right.
Because then I'm teaching my children how to be as they move forward in their lives.
Yeah, that guy might be depressed.
He might be. So maybe we need counseling.
Definitely.
Whatever it is. But you're not going to sit on the couch for year 2 without making attempts.
Yeah. One of the things, though, it depends on how you talk to the man.
This is true.
Yeah, because if you say
this is true,
if you say it as a woman, it could be offensive to a man if you say you're not going to do this.
Right. Absolutely.
You almost have to say, "Hun, it's better if you don't do this. Let's try. Try to find a way to talk to him soft."
You should know how to talk to your spouse by that time.
Yes.
You guys should have your language of how you communicate.
Right. Because if he feels as if a man holds respect very, very highly. And if he feels as if you're disrespecting him or you're talking to him, belittling him, even though he's not working, trust me, it doesn't work.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I also agree with you 100% about the encouragement. That's what I would do as well. Look at this job, hun. So-and-so is hiring, hun. I would definitely do that as well. I think what I'm trying to figure out for myself is what's my tolerant level? How long do if it's just a matter of him being lazy, but if it's a matter of that's how our household dynamic is, then that's how it is. But I would expect to come home and throw off my shoes and do nothing else. Because that's how we would have the household if we were
he should be doing the cooking,
he should
the cleaning,
cleaning, laundry, shopping. Kids are bathed. All I have to do is walk in, kiss them, and put them to bed. Like that's what I expect.
Okay, I agree with you there.
No, seriously. I want everything done.
Absolutely.
So here's another scenario. She says, my husband is a student and a house husband. She has house husband in quotes. House husband. We both love the arrangement as it suits our personalities. I'm more career-driven. He is quite laid back and caring. The hardest part for me was adjusting expectations and teaching him household management tips that men just aren't raised, socialized to learn. It can be hard sometimes for me to step back and let him do things his way around the house. Although I'm trying, my standards are just higher for tidiness. Didn't change the dynamic at all, although we do get more reactions from strangers about our setup than I expected. He and I never cared about nonsense gender roles, but the world still seems to.
True story.
True story.
Wow.
House husband. This works for them. They
No, that's
literally
good.
set it up
I
like
mean,
this.
that's
This works
good.
for them.
That's good. If it works for them, that's great. I would say okay, that works. But as a man though, I mean, if it works, but as a man, I would encourage him to probably get into some kind of trading. You know, do some trading at home and stuff like
Are
that.
you talking about this particular man or men in
Yes,
general?
that well,
Because in
I
this
would say
particular scenario, I think he's good.
if he's good, he's good. But like, if he was to come to me in my line of work, I'd say, bro, it's good. It will be good for you to make some money even on the side as well. Like
But
do
if
some
it's working
trading
for them,
and stuff.
though.
Yeah, I know it works for them, but truly, really and truly speaking, I'm looking at the wife, like, because this is how I think. I'm looking at the wife long term. It works for them, but if things doesn't go well with the wife, he needs to fall back on something. You know, if the wife leaves, if the wife job doesn't work out, you know, the money is not flowing anymore, right? So in this particular thing, what I like to do is I like to encourage people to look at all the other and if all the investments are good and they're okay with
The
that
savings are good.
and savings are good, then I'll say if it works, forget it. But I will throw that in.
But that would be the same advice that we women are given when we're
Yes.
told by our grandmothers and our moms, you know, make sure you have your own money on the side.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, there is a scenario in there about that. Yeah, it's right here. Make sure you have your money on the side. And what you described, the same. There are those same challenges where the husband is a breadwinner. If he decides to leave now, and I'm staying at home with the kids, right? And he decides to leave with his job and his money, what happens to me? It's the same
Yeah.
scenario,
Mhm.
right? We're in the same shoes. It's just that in this world of women stay home and men work, their scenario is so strange to people.
Mhm.
And it's funny because from what I read, it doesn't bother them at all. It works for them completely, right? But there is a scenario here. She says here, my single mom has repeated, never depend on a man for your well-being, to me and my sisters for the last 25 years. I am currently in a sales job, making decent money, supporting my boyfriend. So we're going to talk about the whole supporting boyfriend versus supporting husband thing just now. I'll carry on. It never bothered me until it became assumed all in caps and bolded, assumed I would pay for things, and he stopped seriously looking for a new job. Let that go. I let that go for about a year and finally started to set some boundaries. I feel like if one person is being more fiscally responsible, the other person being grateful and contributing in other ways makes or breaks it. And that's the reoccurring theme too. It's not just that the woman has to support financially. It's what is the guy doing?
Mhm.
Like if you're not doing anything at all, that's a problem. And I also have a problem with the whole supporting boyfriend versus husband.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me too. No.
I agree.
No.
I agree.
Unless we have that union, unless we
Yeah.
have that commitment,
Mhm.
no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Why are you supporting the boyfriend? He's not even your husband
He's
yet.
not even your husband yet.
So
Exactly.
when he becomes your husband, what do you have to look forward to?
And we may be
men
old
don't-
fashioned.
Yeah,
maybe.
men don't come at me after this. I think that I don't think that's good. I mean, being a husband, I think boyfriend thing, no.
Mm-mm.
Husband, yeah.
Mhm. I agree.
And
I
when
totally agree.
you're dating somebody and they're your boyfriend, how soon after dating him do you recognize that you're supporting him? Because isn't that I was gonna say isn't that a red flag, but that's more like
Better
a
be pretty
wheelbarrow
soon.
of red flags.
It better be pretty soon.
What is going on? Oh, what's Paula saying, hun? Hi, Paula.
She said men identify themselves by the work they do a little earlier when you were
That's true.
mentioning it.
That's true.
And she also said you as a woman need to encourage with care, and that was something.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Both
yes.
very, very good. True.
Very
Men
good
do
points.
identify with the work that they do. Ever ask a man what does he do, and if he does something that he's not proud of, how he answers?
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah,
it's
of
it's
course.
head is down. He's like, "What did you say?"
Yeah.
But
Of course.
versus when you ask the man what do you do, and he's proud of what he does, the way he projects what he does.
Oh yes.
No, it's very true. But we should always speak to our husbands with care.
Mhm.
We shouldn't be those women,
Mhm.
wives that call our husband out of his name, speak down. Men are very fragile. We talked about this the last
Very.
time. Very super, super, super sensitive. So
Well, hey, that's okay. I mean, it's the truth.
yeah,
But
yeah, very, very super sensitive. So you can't be calling him out his name. And even though he's a couch potato or video game player or what have you, we don't know if it's bothering him internally or not.
Mhm.
Right? So
That's
you
true.
come at him aggressively and calling him out his name, calling him lazy, and my friends say, and
Oh, yeah.
my parents say,
that's
and
the
my
worst. Yeah.
then
Oh, gosh,
forget it.
yeah.
Forget it.
Mhm.
You've
Yeah.
lost him.
I do. One of the things is if a man is doing a job that he's ashamed of, I also encourage him to say, you know what, at least you're doing something,
You're doing something.
right?
Absolutely.
And it's
Mhm.
very important. If a man is actually working, you need to really appreciate him for that.
Yeah.
Because some men are lazy. And sometimes they have been spoiled. They have been spoiled
Yes.
by their
Say it.
parents. By their parents.
Yep.
So I will most of the time by their mom, but it is what it is. So yeah.
I love what you said, that even if a man is working and he's not proud of his job, encourage him and say, at least you're doing something.
Yes.
And I often say the easiest way to find a job is when you have a job.
Right.
Right.
True.
So it's easier to find a job when you have a job. It's harder to find a job when you
We
don't
don't
have a
one.
job. I'm all about supporting men and encouraging them because I've learned in my years how sensitive men are. Women, we need to be loved. And not only do we need to be loved, we need to know that you love us. You need to show us that you
Mhm.
love us. That's very, very, very important to us. Not so much to a man. Once a man has you and he knows you love him, that's all he needs to know.
Not just
You don't
love.
but you don't have to reassure him. But here's what men do need. This is what I've learned in my years.
Mhm.
Don't take them for granted.
Right.
Don't disrespect them.
A man needs to be respected.
He needs to
Yes.
be
Yep.
respected.
Absolutely.
That's number one.
He needs to be, he needs to be the king of the household.
Mhm.
Don't degrade him.
That's right.
That just and be very appreciative. You come home and it snowed the whole time that you were at work, and you're thinking, oh man. And you come home and the driveway is all shoveled, garbage has been taken out, the kids are, you gotta big him up.
acknowledge that.
Yeah, you gotta big him up.
Gotta-
Oh, you gotta big him up.
Gotta.
You have to
You're
big him
tickling
up.
me right now.
No,
by
you
saying
have to,
that.
no, you have to big him up.
No, you're right.
You can't
You're right,
you can't come
though.
home and say, hi honey, how was your day? And he's looking at you going, but you don't see the clear driveway that you just walked on. You can't just you gotta big him up. You gotta big him up. And I
do.
love doing that. I love
That's awesome.
doing that. But I do that with my daughter too. I
That
do
is
that with
awesome.
my daughter as well. So I would do that with my man as well. Like, oh my goodness, honey, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Now I want to what I want to do now. Okay, you sit down. Let me go take out your food for you. And
Okay,
you
you're
see-
doing too much.
no, I am no. My love language. My love language is acts of service.
That's
So
my
I
husband's,
love
yeah.
to serve. I love to serve. It's hard for me not to. It's hard for
Got
me
it.
not to. But so if I come home from a hard day's work and you've done all of that, yeah, I don't care how tired I am. I wanna reciprocate.
Yeah, no, I love
Yeah,
that.
you're good, right? You're good, right?
But I'm good.
Nah.
Oh yeah, I'd be good.
Yeah. No, but please, ladies, like you would big them up. Yeah, they're super sensitive. They're
They are.
childlike. That's who you married.
Big time.
Don't act like if you don't know him.
No matter how much bravado they put on, right?
Right?
No matter how big tough and rough they
That's
want to
right.
be, they're so fragile and
So
so
fragile.
gentle.
That's
and
right.
They just need a little gentle stroke.
That's it.
That's it. And
Women, the same way that women need gentle stroke, men need gentle stroke too. Mhm.
That is very true.
One thing I must say, and I say this is very important, that men and women, one need to talk and listen, and one need to listen, and one need to talk.
Yes.
And
True story.
you're right. The person needs to tell everything that they need to come out, get it out of the chest. The next person, vice versa. True story. There's a woman I was telling that I said, I told my wife this one particular thing. I said, honey, you need to talk and let me know exactly what you have in your heart, and I need to express exactly what I have in my heart, and then things works out.
Mhm.
If that's not the case, then it's not going to work. So there was this one woman I was talking to recently. She was telling me stuff, telling me some things. I was telling her some things, and I said to her, express yourself. Let me know what you're talking about. And when she expressed herself, I said, okay, now it's my time to talk. And then she tried to cut into me. I said, hold on. Remember what I said? And then she's like, okay, yeah, sorry. And then what ended up happening is that we literally had such a great conversation that night she left. She's like, thank you so much for, because she's not probably normally not that way expressing herself. She cuts people off, right? So I just needed to mention that. I just thought I needed to mention that. Very important.
Well, that's because communication is huge in a relationship. Any and all relationships, not just husband and wives, but all relationships. Yeah. I had a friend pull me aside one day and said, you get excited when you're talking to people, and if they say something that resonates with you, you jump right in to say, oh, that, and she's like, give them a second to finish their statement. I'm like, oh, you know what? I didn't realize I was doing that.
But what a good observation for her to share.
Although she does that a lot now too, so I don't know what to say to her. That's a whole other story. But,
oh my goodness.
But communication is huge. And one of the things, in addition to your love language, you should know when you're with somebody, like both of you, understand people's love languages. I talk to my nephew about that all the time. Aunt Lou, I do this and this and this for her, and she doesn't do it back. I'm like, well, that's probably not her love language. If your love language is acts of service or buying gifts, and her love language is touch and affection, if you're buying, you can buy her all the gifts in the world. She's going to come and rub you up because that's her love language, right? So we have to understand that. So that's important, but also the way you communicate is important. Mm-hmm. And the same way you learn the likes and the dislikes and the quirks of your partner, learn how you guys communicate. So if you're married to a man or a woman who is not combative, doesn't like to get into the tra-la-las. Like, if you're going to start a verbal discussion, you're fighting by yourself because she's just not going to go there with you. And then you have the ones who will go toe-to-toe with you. Learn how your partner communicates. Mm-hmm. And that way, when your husband's on the sofa doing nothing, you can come sit beside him and say, okay, hon, what's up? What's going on with this? Mm-hmm. Right? But you can't just go all in on him because you've lost him.
Absolutely.
You'll lose him.
No, absolutely.
You'll lose him.
And there's time and place too, as well, right? Mm-hmm. Like if I have to discuss something difficult with my husband or something that happened that I didn't like, I've got to wait for the right time and place, because it's not always the right time to bring something up.
Absolutely.
So if we're sitting talking and I have a heavy load, mm-hmm. I may wait till we're in the car. He can't get away then. I may wait, but I may wait till we're in the car and we're talking about nonsense.
Exactly, and then throw it in.
And then I'll just slide it on in there, and we can have that good discussion about it. And also, my husband is that guy. He doesn't like confrontation. Mm-hmm. I'm like, let's put the boxing gloves on now. Let's go.
Yes, I met your husband. I know you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right? Let's go toe to toe. But it's been 30 odd years now. He's learned, he says to the kids all the time, I did not get a book on how to manage your mom. I learned. I learned her. Ooh. Because I am the same as I will always be. And I have patterns. He's figured them out. He knows how to soothe me when I'm getting a little excited. And I understand his language. Mm-hmm. And I know when my husband's a gentle giant. He doesn't get mad. He's never upset about anything. But I can sense when he's getting upset, and I know what I have to do. I've got to back down. I got to come right down. The Sandra that's ready to go, I got to come right down. I've got to backpedal. I know it. Mm-hmm. If he says no about something, you best believe it's no.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow. Well, ladies and gents who's watching, we're about to wind up. So if you haven't put Let's Talk in the comment section, do that now for your chance at winning a free ticket to the 2nd annual Let's Talk Women's Conference. So put Let's Talk into the comment section if you haven't done that now to be entered for your chance to win a free ticket. I will contact you tomorrow or what day is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Saturday.
Friday.
Tomorrow's Friday.
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 My goodness, Friday or Saturday to let the winner know who has won. So let's talk in the comments section for your chance to win a free ticket to the second annual Let's Talk Women's Conference coming up on Saturday, April 26th at the Audley Recreation Center.
Mm-hmm.
I have one more comment I'm going to read here. Oh, tickets can be purchased on my website for the conference. One more comment I'm going to read. He wasn't very okay with it. He felt really guilty and tried extra hard to make it up to me by taking me out, cooking me meals, and being extra agreeable to stuff. I think long term, on the other hand, is a completely different story. I feel like a lot of men are deep down more traditional than they think they are and want to be dependable and want to feel gratified in being the breadwinner. I agree with that. I ended on that one. I agree with that. I think men are more traditional than we think.
I would agree.
And they would rather take care of the household, take care of their families. And I think it's a handful of men that would sit back on sofa and not do anything. So
But I have a
agree with that.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Whose money did he use to take her out on dates?
Oh, Sandra, how you gonna ruin that beautiful story? Let me read it again. Very, 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 very good point. Very good point. Okay. As we're wrapping up, that's a really good point because
He's not
when you have
working.
a house husband and the woman's bringing home all the bacon, does she give him an allowance? They share? Share
Maybe.
what? What they
Her
sharing?
money.
You see, I go to interject in this one.
What they
Because men
sharing?
and women, not everybody agrees with this, but this is how my household run. We pool whatever we have together. It's our money, not just
Yeah, but I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody in your household is working.
No. My wife is she's not working like that.
Okay.
So I'm the breadwinner.
Okay.
I'm the one. She used to make more money than me,
Okay.
and now I'm the one that's making more money now.
Okay.
But overall, we share whatever we do together.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So there goes the answer then. The money is when he or she, well, in this case she, because we're talking about women, gets paid, the money just goes into their account. And he has a debit card and she has a debit card and they just okay.
I have my own account. She has her own account.
How does her account get replenished? How does it get?
So the thing about it, so she does a business that doesn't get paid all the time.
Okay.
So she does get paid sometimes.
Okay.
Right. But
okay.
We whatever I work, it goes in. Some of it goes into her account.
Okay.
So yeah. So we work together.
Okay.
So yeah.
Can I say something?
Oh, please.
What about stay-at-home moms?
But we listen. That's the norm. That's why we're talking about
No.
the other way around.
So the very first person was a stay-at-home father.
Mhm.
Why would it be different for a stay-at-home father than it is for a stay-at-home mom?
Because they're not used to society
Yeah.
is not used to it.
It's not about society, it's about what works in your household.
Yeah,
This
but
is true.
still, but if you look at one of the comments that was here, this woman, they did what they did, and they had to literally ignore the outside
pressures,
noise. Yeah, because it is different.
It's noise.
That's why this topic, when I posted it, my phone blew up. What about this? And what about this? And like, it's so foreign to some people. And now if this was a topic about men who took care of their wives financially, there'd be no interest. Well, because it's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. And the
It
wife
is.
goes shopping with the husband's money. The husband gives her the credit card and she goes grocery shopping, clothes shopping, toy for the kids shopping. It's normal. But when we flip the scenario, everybody's like, their head gets up, their hair is in a bun. Okay, so what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? And who pays for this? Like, look at that last one that I read. And you said, what, is he using her money to take her out? And that's a really good point. Like, we can be on this all day about, okay, so then when he needs gas for his car, and what if he wants to go to the bar with the boys or go to a sporting game, or
Can I say something?
please, would you stop
Is it
asking?
his money or is it their money?
It's their money.
Their money.
Their money.
Their money.
Because
Their
the
money.
bar is, what I mean? Like when there's a stay-at-home mom,
Mm-hmm.
it's not his money. That would be fair to her. So other way around, it's still their money. Why do we have these? Who cares what society thinks? I'm not married to society.
This is true.
Amen.
But it's hard. It's hard not to
change those
conform.
ideals, yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the barber shop and you're getting your hair cut and we're talking about, oh yeah, I don't work. My wife supports us.
You know what's going to happen in that barber shop. They're going to come for him.
They're gonna
They're
come
coming
for
for
him.
him. If you ask one more time, before you say what you're going to say, what's that last comment that Paula has there for us?
We have the same arrangements, and Paula said that we are both watching. So her. And
Oh, hi. Okay.
So I lost it.
I knew that. I was afraid that might happen.
What was the last thing we were just saying?
Well, if they were in
If
the
you're in the
barber
barber
shop,
shop and you said I was a stay-at-home dad,
they would come for him.
So I'm gonna just change the perspective. If it's a stay-at-home mom and she has kids, she is working.
absolutely.
If it's a stay-at-home dad and he is taking care of the kids, he is equally working. And I am not with a stay-at-home anybody. Probably couldn't be. But I just want us to think about
Wow, I see what you're saying.
No, but I
Yeah.
to really, because why should he get criticized and why should they go for him at the barbershop when if she was getting her hair done, the women would not go for her because we know she is taking care of those kids, she is cooking food, she is cleaning the house. I have friends that are stay-at-home mom and they work. Now let's just flip who's the stay-at-home. She's making the money.
But see, now you kind of answered your own question in a roundabout way. The reason why there would be no comment if she was getting her hair done is because that's the norm. That's what we're used to. And women would wear all hats and do all things because that's just who we are. But the problem with these scenarios, especially if you read the examples that I pulled up, is if we're a stay-at-home mom, automatically we know what we have to do.
Yeah.
No one has to tell us. No one has to argue with. And if we don't do the laundry, it's because we're tired. But best believe we're doing it tomorrow. And if we don't cook and we ordered pizza, it's because we're beat, like we're exhausted. But best believe the chicken is thawing out for us to cook tomorrow. The issue that I think that's happening here in these scenarios is the man stays at home and is either one of two things. He's very, very guilty about it. And so he does the cooking and the cleaning and the taking you out and making you feel special. Or he gets really comfortable with it and doesn't do any of those things. And that's the problem. That's the problem.
That's
the problem.
That's the
Is when
bad.
he doesn't do it exactly. But when it comes, and that's why it's such a hot button topic when you talk about the man staying at home. What kind of stay-at-home house husband are you? Right? Because if you're doing all the things that the woman is doing, you're absolutely right. That's a partnership. That's a marriage. That's an arrangement. Like that couple there. They sound
for them.
quite content with their relationship and the way they've got it worked out. So it depends on what kind of relationship you have, what your arrangement is, and what kind of stay-at-home husband are you. And on that note, ooh, if you're still watching and you haven't put Let's Talk in the comments section for your chance to win a free ticket to the second annual Let's Talk Women's Conference, please do that now. I will give you a couple of seconds to put Let's Talk into the comment section for your chance to win. Now, you simply don't just put Let's Talk in the comment section. You also have to make sure you are following me on my platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I will be checking. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Sandra and Joseph for joining me once again. I will find any excuse at any topic to have these two join me. I love the dynamic, so I'll find any reason for them to come and do a Let's Talk. Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Good topic. Keep the comments coming. I still read them when I get home. We will be back again in 2 weeks. Take care, everybody. Be safe on those icy roads out there. Be very safe. Have a good night. And I will announce the winner of the free ticket tomorrow or Saturday. Bye, guys. Take care.